Alrighty, hello there YouTube, welcome back to, I don't know, the most bog standard build that you probably will see this league. Bruised here. It's been a bit, but I am here playing some Path of Exile 2 since the 0.5 patch dropped. Been having a ton of fun with it. Martial Artist is what we're going to be talking about today. Pretty bog standard, elemental, quarterstaff, martial artist action we got going on. Really like this new ascendancy that they've added to the monk. We got our third ascendancy. It's been really cool. We're rocking, as you can see, the bell on our back, so we've got the little ghost bells whenever we go into a map. And we've got Fists of Stone right now. I don't have 4th Lab yet, but when we do get 4th Lab, it will most likely be the Runic Meridians, so that we can get some runes tattooed onto our bodies, and it gives us some extra bonuses there. But yeah, I've been having a ton of fun with this, and I decided I kind of wanted to make both sort of a build guide, but also kind of just yap a little bit about like the character and the season overall, just because like I feel like this is a relatively simple character. There's nothing too crazy going on. So yeah, with that, we'll go into a map here, kind of show you what this character does, what we're all about, and then we'll just go from there. Still don't care about Asmiri Spirits, if I'm gonna be so real. So we're just gonna hop right in. We're going into the trenches even. Yeah, we are. So here's our little ghost bells here. And the great part about ghost bells with martial artist is that it allows us to use killing palm, because those bells are always cullable. You always crit them, and they're always primed for stun. So you can actually take advantage of a bunch of different mechanics with them. They're really good. They feel really nice. They actually add a lot of stun potential to enemies. You can stun like crazy with this kind of setup here. We got Whirling Assault that we're using as well. It's purple just because that's the skill effect. But yeah, it's great. It's so nice having an actual means of it's so nice having a real means to generate power charges versus what we used to have to do, which was mostly use Combat Frenzy and then like electrocute or freeze or whatever enemies so that we could generate a frenzy charge, but then you would convert it to power charges with the that keystone that's right next to, that's pretty close to monk. And that was like the semi-consistent way that we could generate power charges previously, or at least it was the most common way the last time I played monk and everything that we would do that. What are these? Moves people sprinting, companions deal damage. I am actually doing a companion build on the side. Rune of Accumulation is something that we're going to be using later, most likely. Mobilization build-up, that's pretty nice. We'll take this just for the companion thing a bit later. But yeah, I'm working on making a spirit. The Huntress, I forget the name, Spirit Walker, companion build as well, which has so far been a lot of fun. I really like both of the ascendancies that they have given us this time around. And I'm super excited for what we're gonna get, since we get 1.0. Our next Path of Exile 2 patch is 1.0. That'll be exciting. I am stoked to see everything that comes with that. It's gonna be wild though, right? Because we still have, I'm assuming 1.0 means they're putting out all the rest of the characters in the ascendancies, right? But we're still missing like, what, 4 characters? Is that right? We're missing the duelist. We're missing Shadow, because we're missing like swords. We're missing traps. We're missing Templar, technically, like the other int plus strength guy. So what, 4? We're missing quite a few classes, and then we're also missing ascendancies still with multiple classes as well. Also view this thing. Ow. I would like it to move away from the poison ground it made. And there we go. There we go. Yeah, we just have rare monsters on this map. I don't care that much. We'll go back. Passive skill. Give me that. Heck yeah. Okay, but yeah, that is the monk. It's a very, very, very simple build. Like I said, it's pretty standard. You know, you're running around, you're placing your bell down, you're whirling assaulting on top of your bell. You got Ice Strike and Storm Wave for your general clear. Whenever you need a power charge, you're just using Killing Palm to just call one of your bells or call a random enemy that happens to be nearby. And then you're using Charge Staff to actually just power yourself up as you're running around. So, pretty bog standard stuff. I'll kind of quickly go over the gem situation and kind of also early on what I was doing as I was leveling this character, and then we'll jump into passive tree and gear per usual. So, like I said, we're using all of that fairly standard stuff. When you're leveling, I was a lot more, I would say, reserved with what I decided to use. I used Killing Palm, Falling Thunder for like all of Act 1. And I used just basic Quarterstaff Strike and then Tempest Bell whenever I got it, and Ice Strike when I got that. But realistically, I would say probably just use Wind Blast to give yourself some actual range as you're running around. I think it'll make things a lot more comfortable than what I had. I'm not huge on Glacial Cascade and Frozen Lotus, so if you like those as well, feel free to use those. I just don't like how they feel. Something about it just doesn't quite click with me. But if you're fine with Glacial Cascade as well, use that. But I just used Falling Thunder, Killing Palm. Kept it pretty standard on that regard. It'll really start to feel good again once you're using like Ice Strike, and then it'll start to feel even better again once you actually have Storm Wave cooking, and then Charge Staff is just a lot of added damage, and Whirling Assault feels really good ever since they actually buffed the area of effect on this. I did not play the last time I played Whirling Assault. They did not have the increased AoE, so it was a much smaller circle. And it feels a lot better now with that increased area of effect they've added to the skills. So, Whirling Assault, quite nice. Get a little bit of spin-to-win action going on, so feels good there. And then, for our Spirit Gems here, we're using Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ice, and Wind Dancer. Realistically, Herald of Ice, I'm not doing enough ice damage to be consistently freezing things. And I also don't have the Herald node over here coming Calamity. So I would reasonably say you could drop Herald of Ice, truthfully, and you could put in something like a, let's see, where are my Spirit Gems? You could put in something like a charge regulation if you want to try to really keep on top of both managing your buff timer with your power charges for Charge Staff and for keeping power charges in general for charge regulation. You could run that if you really want to. Otherwise, you could do something like a Ghost Dance. There's probably a couple other options in here that I'm just not really thinking about, but you could certainly do that. Trinity even, mayhaps, although actually that costs a lot of spirit. Maybe if you get spirit in your gear, we actually might be able to get at least some benefit out of Trinity, because we do have quite a lot of just like flat elemental damage added throughout the build, but we are doing mostly lightning damage. So, you know, I'll leave that up to you, but that's what I'm rocking for now. I will probably be replacing Herald of Ice with Ghost Dance at some point, though, just for the sake of getting a little bit tankier on the build. But otherwise, I have here, and I've been really lazy as far as switching out my support gems. I actually meant to do it before this video, and just realized now that I did not do that. So, ignore it when it says 1. Like this. This should be Magnified Area 2, not 1. So, yeah, and Close Combat 2. So, that's what I would say as far as these goes. Use the 2s, not the 1s. Ignore my laziness. But we got Hollow Focus here. Cooldown recovery makes the bells spawn more often. That's also why on our map, if you go over here to the interlude, over here in Halani's Pillar as well, also taking more cooldown recovery rate over here. That is a boon that you can get, which is actually very nice. And then we are also using that. You also need it for Hollow Resonance, which is the bell on your back there too. So more cooldown recovery there, good. Close combat also helpful, and culling strike. We are culling things with Killing Palm, but you're not always standing. You're not always in a. You're not culling everything, is what I would say. So it's kind of nice to just have this bell, because sometimes, you know, maybe you're like mid spin on Whirling Assault and they hit the culling threshold on the bell, and a bell that spawns, the bell just kills them instantly. It's actually very cozy. So that's kind of just my setup going in here. Hollow Resonance here. We got Close Combat 2, Elemental Armament 3. Because we don't care that much about it applying elemental ailments. We're doing that with our Storm Waves, we're doing that with our Ice Strikes and whatever else, so realistically, they should have pretty much all, or at least a good chunk of elemental elements on them, so this will deal a good bit more attack damage, cooldown recovery, and then execute. So when they're on low life, they start taking more and more damage from Hollow Resonance. Ice Strike here, Armament 2, Rapid Attacks 2, Freeze, Close Combat 2, and Crescendo 3. Ancestrally boosting things is great. That's why we have Ancestral boosting on our Whirling Assault and our Tempest Bell here, which is also just very good, a very good bonus that you get. I would say using Freeze when you first get this skill is really good. Like, Freeze early on is really, really nice because you'll be freezing things pretty much all the time. But these days, I kind of don't freeze things nearly as often, so this could probably be replaced with something a little bit better. I don't really know what I would want to put here instead, but you could probably replace it with something nicer. And then we got our Whirling Assault, Close Combat, Rapid Attacks, Ancestral Call, and Elemental Armament 2. Bell, same thing, Ancestral. Durability, just so we can hit the bell a couple more times. And also Blazing Critical, this will give us some added fire damage when we critically hit. You are going to be critically hitting. It does count when the bell rings as well. If you hit and the bell rings, and that crits, that is a crit. So it will also give you Blazing Critical for that. Close Combat, and then Stormwave here, Armament, Magnified Area. You can use Upheaval here or something along those lines if you want. I just don't like how those feel. Magnified Area is plenty of area for the Stormwave, so highly recommend doing that. Lightning Exposure, so that when we do shock things with Stormwave, then we are getting some added. We are then exposing them, so just lowering their elemental resistances overall, which is nice. And Rage 3, just for generating some rage, and just kind of gives us the safety to just stand back and do this while we're generating rage. Killing Palm here, Charge Profusion, just to give us more charges so we can ramp our charge staff faster. Magnified Area, just to make the I think it's like when you kill, it kind of like expands out a bit or something. And then actually, why do I have this? You know what? Well, it has an area of effect. Oh, it does have an area of effect. Okay, so I was going to say, because it can be supported by it. Okay, so you know what? I don't think you need Magnified Area or anything, but that's fine. Thrill of the Kill is nice, though. This also just gives, anytime you call something with this, I believe the bell does count for this. I feel like I've seen it count. You know what? Let's go do a very quick science check in the middle of this. Okay, so we don't have Thrill. I need a bell. Bell. Yep. Okay. So Thrill of the Kill does work on that. That's what I thought, but I wanted to double check. So Thrill of the Kill there, also kind of a nice just added damage and gives increased shock, which is great. Charge Staff here, prolonged duration, Close Combat again, and Perpetual Charge, just to make it so that sometimes when you consume your charges, you keep your charges, which is just a little bit nicer when you're running around, so you can kind of just reset your timer if you're about to go into like a boss fight or something and have your charges. And then, like I said, Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ice, Wind Dancer, we got Precision 1 in there as well, just to give us a little bit of added accuracy rating as we go in. And yeah, so that is all the gems I really have. We'll very quickly go over the tree, because like I said, this is kind of a bog standard tree overall. You take and we'll go over Ascendancy first. So we have Hollow Focus, Hollow Resonance, and Way of the Stone Fist, like I was saying. I did test out Hollow Form, but I genuinely think that Hollow Form is a skill that you more so want to build into as a build entirely, rather than just using this randomly with other monk skills and other monk setup. It just it felt a little bit awkward, because it was like, you know, you put Whirling Assault in there, which is great, don't get me wrong. You put Whirling Assault in there, you watch him Whirling Assault, but then it was usually just like, yeah, but I've been attacking and I'm already right here. I could just Whirling Assault instead of having my clones go out and do it. So it just felt a little bit weird from that perspective. So I would just say, if you want to do a Hollow Form build, just do a full Hollow Form build itself. I believe like Jung Roan has been was doing a build like this. I don't know if he still is, but he was doing a build with this, and it looked pretty good. So I would say just keep this kind of as its own, almost like its own thing. And then the bell nodes themselves are really good. We'll be going Runic Meridians, because I believe that applies to the Kalgurin runes too. So we'd want to be throwing in like this glove one to give us some life per enemy hit with attacks and mana per enemy hit with attacks. A couple other things in here are pretty decent too. The deflection rating per 10 maximum runic ward would also be nice. I'll probably actually put some ward on a few more pieces. Like that one doesn't have ward and this one doesn't either. So I'd probably put ward on those two, just to submit that. And then whatever other things just happen to fit in a good slot for those pieces that it gives us. So that's my current plan. But yeah, the combo nodes here I think are really good too, but you probably would want to do something a bit wackier. Like I know people like Mathel were doing a shapeshifter utilizing these combo nodes with martial artist here. But yeah, my plan is just to do runic meridians here. And then as far as the actual tree itself goes, when you're starting early leveling, flow state, crash and wave, essence of the storm, and mindful awareness, that's all what you're grabbing. Concussive attack, moment of truth afterwards, and conservative casting whenever your resistance, or not your resistance, whenever your mana costs start to feel high. So take this earlier or a little bit later whenever mana starts to feel like an issue. And then blinding strike and agile succession just to get those, along with essence of the mountain, and then start making your way up from there. Take dizzying sweep after you have storm wave. Then go over here, get all these crit nodes. At some point, whenever you're starting to feel squishy, get spectral ward to make sure that you have a body armor on that has a good amount of evasion on it, so that you're getting some more energy shield. Get your max power charges. As you're leveling as well, I would say keep an eye out on your quarterstaff tree. I would say if you haven't upgraded your quarterstaff in a while, honestly look to do hollow palm, especially if you have Way of the Stone Fist. Look to do hollow palm if you've upgraded your gloves more recently than you've upgraded your quarterstaff. I actually leveled hollow palm most of the campaign, and it was really comfortable and really good, especially with Way of the Stone Fist. It just really pumps up your early game damage. And then after I got a decent quarterstaff, I unspecced out of it and took the quarterstaff nodes here as well. In the future, I'll probably be taking this last critical damage node for quarterstaves, and then maybe this Nature's Bite here, but if not Nature's Bite, then I'd probably take First Principle of the Hollow, or come over here to First Teachings of the Keeper for more deflection rating, for some of that more of this. There's deflection rating on the small nodes here. They give us some more just other defensive nature things. So this little wheel here is pretty good. Nature's Bite here just for more elemental ailments and some damage. Chakra of Impact over here is not bad either. Same with Chakra of Rhythm. Those are both pretty good. So yeah, I don't know. There's options here. There's options and directions to go, most definitely. But I'm kind of leaning towards either Nature's Bite or First Principle of the Hollow, just to kind of give us some more of that. But first things first, critical damage. Also, you could take one with the river. I also would probably recommend taking one with the river, because you're wielding a quarterstaff. This is freeze buildup, stun buildup, some daze, and then just some defenses. So not a bad little node, little wheel up there as well. I just have kind of been trying to lean a bit harder into damage. Glass cannon, but sometimes you might crash out if you're somebody that gets annoyed at glass cannons. So yeah, and then we have struck through, of course, with the other heart stopping and heart breaking, and bestial skin plus enhanced reflexes, both just solid nodes. Gives us some more evasion, gives us some deflection, all that good stuff. That is the tree. Fairly standard, like I said, nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary. We'll go over gear. I'm trying to kind of rapid fire through this because, like I said, it's fairly standard stuff, so I wasn't really planning to try to spend a ton of time. Fairly standard here too. Bolting quarterstaff, of course, we're using elemental stuff. You could certainly get a better one than this. I think I crafted like 5 of these quarterstaves, and this is the first one that showed up even semi-decently, so I was crashing out a little bit, but I'll probably go back and try to actually craft an even better quarterstaff at some point. But bolting quarterstaff is the one that you are going to be looking for. I have some glacial runes in here just for the sake of getting a bit of cold damage added in for like freezing strike, and kind of trying to keep things a little bit balanced on the elemental side, just because we want to try to get some more of these elemental ailments out there. But otherwise, gear-wise is going to be very standard. You know, try to get life resistances and defenses. Those are going to be your big 3. So make sure you're capped, make sure you get resistances, make sure you're getting life, and then just try to get something that is a little bit thicker overall. Amulets and amulet rings and gloves as well. You're going to be looking for just like flat added damage, life resistances on amulets and rings, along with whatever stat requirements you might need. A bit of accuracy can't hurt. But otherwise, just flat added damage, some resistances, and then some attack speed or crit nodes as well. And then, oh, gloves. So the Fists of Stone are really cool. And here, I'll show you what the gloves look like normally. So they are normally just, this is physical, fire, and lightning damage to attacks, level of all skills, critical damage bonus, and then deflection rating. But when you slap it on, it all translates into this. So any flat added damage becomes damage as extra. Any level to melee skills becomes quality. Critical damage bonus becomes critical hit chance. And then deflection becomes prevent. Damage as deflected. Look around for sure, you know, take a peek, look around at what other mods are out there that are cool to run. I know attack speed also gives you onslaught on hit, which is actually pretty spicy, so I would say if you can, try to get yourself a good pair of gloves, maybe with crit at the bottom, and then also some attack speed in there as well, just so that you can be getting onslaught. Onslaught is a very cozy buff, especially if you're going to be... Ooh, excuse me. Especially if you're going to be... attacking with like whirling assault, things that hit multiple times. So it's going to be a really cozy buff. But otherwise, you know, try out some unique ones too. They're fun. It's cool. Attack damage with hits is lucky while you're surrounded. If you had like a constricting command or something, whatever that hat's called, this would also not be a bad little dealio there for you. This is the effect of a support gem, but now it's on your gloves instead. So pretty good option there instead. Loctonial Caress, that would be more so if you're doing the hollow form build over here, because Loctonial Caress, I believe, does apply to the clones that you create, so that's a pretty good little bonus that you get there. There's just some fun stuff here with Blue Flame Bracers, where you're converting to lightning damage instead of cold, and you're gaining some fire as lightning. So lots of fun stuff to look at and take and play with and toy with when it comes to Way of the Stone Fist. Just a fun setup, but gearing wise, relatively simple on this character. But I think with that, that's all I have as far as my my monk here goes. I've been having a ton of fun with this guy, like I was saying, and like I was telling you. It's been a blast. I actually really enjoy the end game now as it is too. My biggest complaint used to be kind of the end game just felt like they just shoved you into a very empty vacuum and just said, go on your way. And there's a few things to do, of course, but there really wasn't enough to keep me engaged very long in the end game. And so I would usually wind up getting to kind of about this point, level right around 84, maybe a little bit further, go to like 86 or so, and then I would stop and I would just get bored and move to another character. But I mean, there's just so much for me to do still, and I still just have so much to go through and so much to do. There's a lot of stuff to see. We got the ocean down here, we got a breach right here, we got some I think this is ritual over there. Delirium right here. We got some Abyss over here that I have to do. Vault Temple. I'm not a huge fan of Vault Temple still, so I am probably not really going to be bothering with that unless I happen to need something from it, but I don't think I do. But yeah, otherwise I still, like I said, was very, very surprised at how much fun this particular endgame expansion has been. Super stoked to continue to play and have a good time. Like I said, the next character that I have is going to be a Spirit Walker. I'll probably, assuming it works out well, I'll make a build guide for that character too. But it will depend on if it does. I feel like it does anything particularly neat. There might be another bog standard character. Who knows? Who knows? We'll put it out. We'll see how it's planned, and we'll kind of just play it by ear from there. But YouTube, that's all I had for you today. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope if you've been playing, hope you've been having a great time. The POB will be down below. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I have not played with the ability to export the build for like early, middle, late game. I'll be honest, I kind of have to do these videos when I have extra spare time to just kind of hop into and do. So regardless, I'll probably look into that. Maybe in the Path of Exile 1 League, I feel like I feel a little bit more confident in Path of Exile 1 builds. If they add this feature to Path of Exile 1, I'll look into doing this for Path of Exile 1 builds, because I'm a bit more confident in my Path of Exile 1 skills than I am in my Path of Exile 2 skills. So I usually kind of That's why you usually don't see me post as much for Path of Exile 2, is because I just kind of get to a point, and as long as the character feels good and we're pushing into like red maps and we're going into the late game, that's when I'll start to actually make an actual character guide. But I don't want to make any kind of build guides early in a league or early in a character's life, because I'm just not comfortable enough doing that in the game yet. But like I said, YouTube, hope you're having a good time. I'll be back with some more content in the hopefully near future. So until then, take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one, and stay sane out there, Exiles.